We'll call this one The Thrill of a Lifetime. It began in the summer of 2001. My youngest son, Jordan, in anticipation of the 2002 Winter Olympics, which were being held here in the United States in Salt Lake City, Utah, he entered an essay as to why his father, me, was an inspiration to him and to others, and why I should have the privilege of carrying the Olympic torch as it goes from Olympia, Greece, through Atlanta, Georgia, to Salt Lake City, Utah. The notification came to my house in September that Jordan's letter was accepted and that I had been chosen as one of the 11,200 Americans who would have the honor of carrying the Olympic torch. Wow. I was given an opportunity to see Jordan's letter, and basically that in itself was enough to make me swell with pride. To think that my son thought that highly of his father filled me with a tremendous amount of pride, frankly made me cry. Almost makes me cry today. However, I would be carrying the torch as it passed through Chicago on January 4th, 2002. For a moment, that one moment in time, as the song goes, I would have the responsibility to ensure that the flame that was lit in Olympia, Greece, would be carried successfully on through to Salt Lake City, Utah. Oddly enough, a few years prior to this, Judy and I had visited Olympia, Greece, and saw the building. There's an actual building that houses the flame for the original Olympics that never goes out. The flame stays lit all of the time between the Olympics. So little did I know at that time that I would be carrying that. Because of this whole thing, I was interviewed on TV. My family was there, even my 4-year-old granddaughter, Alyssa, way back. Along with friends and some neighbors, all come to witness my carrying the torch. What an incredible thrill. Oh, wow, what an incredible honor. What a moment that I had. As you can tell, I'm living a very wonderfully fulfilling life. I have been blessed by God with so many gifts. And all of this is, if this is not good enough, I am now blessed with 5 beautiful, healthy, and intelligent grandchildren. How lucky am I? Alyssa Dufair, who now goes by Ezra, was born on October 30th, 1997. Caitlin Dunn, who recently just graduated from the University of Iowa, was born on April 11th, 2002. Ian Dufair, who attends George Washington University, was born on July 9th, 2002. Riley Dunn, University of Colorado, was born on May 20th, 2004. And last but certainly not least, little Emma, I can't call her that anymore because she's not little, Emma Dufair, arrived a bit early on August 14th, 2004. I'm now looking forward to watching them grow and being part of their lives, sharing my years with them and helping them to see how wonderful life can really be. I pray that God will give them time I pray that God will give me time to share my life with them, as well as the wisdom of my parents. And I'm trying to do that through this document and through this video. Try to help them understand the best bit of advice that my father gave to me was, whatever you do in life, always do it to the best of your ability. You will get out of life what you put into it. How right he was. And those words have carried me for many, many years. I've had those on the wall of my office, the wall of my home. They're words to live by. Some personal things. So you might ask, what are some of my favorites? My favorite stories from my childhood, Little Toot, Little Black Sambo, and The Little Engine That Could. Those are the best. Mom used to read those to me all the time. Favorite time of the year, I'd say, would be spring. My favorite holiday, of course, is Christmas. My favorite cookie, I love them all. Chocolate chip is my favorite. My favorite, actually, chocolate chips and oatmeal raisin. That's a hard list. My favorite cake is chocolate cake, of course. My favorite ice cream, butter pecan. Ooh, that was my dad's favorite, as a matter of fact, too. Favorite saying? My favorite saying, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. And the other one is, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds an acorn. My favorite sports team would be the Chicago Cubs in baseball. Favorite Broadway play? Ooh, and I love Broadway plays. My favorite one would probably be Starlight Express. My favorite comic strip? Peanuts, of course. My favorite food? Hamburgers. Well, and some pasta, of course. My favorite clothing? Blue jeans. I'm a blue jean kind of a guy. My favorite color? I bet you can guess. Green. Because that's the color of the Irish. My favorite trait? Honesty and punctuality. My favorite book, read a long, long time ago, and I'm not a big book reader, I'm sorry to say, I wish I was. One of my many faults is I don't read enough, but my favorite book was written by Og Mondino, called The World's Greatest Salesman. Had a lot to do with life lessons, not just sales. A philosophy of mine that I wanted to share with you: if you keep your eyes open and look around, you will see many people that we've been blessed to be around. Of those you meet, take the good things, the good traits that you see, the skills, the attributes, the pluses that you admire, the parts that you may say, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could be like that. Take those traits, remember those things, and help and adapt them to your own personality. Don't copy them, adapt them. Make them yours. Because if you like that and you admire that, then you will like yourself. And even more because of that. And others probably will like you for the same reasons. In the same vein, when you meet or see people that do or say things that repulse you, remember those. And never ever become like that. If it repulses you, it very possibly repulses others. And it just makes you feel bad about yourself. Don't do that. If something you don't want to be or something you don't want to become, don't do it. Because if you imitate, you will become. But don't necessarily look down your nose at people like that. You know, never look down your nose at people. All of us have things we're living with that help us or hinder us from doing certain things. Just because they do not measure up to your standards, some people are who they are because of circumstances they could not control or do not control. Have compassion. Have a lot of compassion on those who are less fortunate than you, but always strive to be your best. You are responsible for you, not for others. And remember that. Failures. Yes, I have had my share. There's no shame in failing. That means you tried. If you fail, that means you tried. If you never fail, you never tried. That happens to be one of my favorite words, try. There's a Star Wars that a friend of mine and I always hear about, was Yoda. In Star Wars would always say, no try, do. Just as telling you all about the failures in my life, it'd be too long. I don't have enough time for that. I was fortunate not to have any addictions like drugs or alcohol. I strayed from the straight and narrow at points in my young life. The most important part, I guess, of the paragraph is that I did make mistakes. Some small, some bigger. But again, I go back to my upbringing to include my parents and my church. I was taught to believe that even though I will make mistakes, even though I will fail, it is a fact that I get back up and how I get back up. And that I get back up. And that I learn from my mistakes and don't keep doing the same dumb things over and over. That's what I will pass on to you. You will make mistakes. No doubt about it. You're human. Humans make mistakes. I pray that none of them are major. In my particular case, none were major. You will be judged on what you do after the mistakes, how you rise up above and beyond them. Another one of my father's famous sayings was that to err is human, to forgive is divine. I think she got that from my grandma Dunn. The fact is that if you get involved in life, you will make mistakes. Get involved anyhow. Don't worry about it. It's the only way to go. Choices. Well, now, choices. One of my favorite beliefs is that everyone has choices. Life is filled with choices. Every day, all day long, you have choices, whether you know it or not. Choice to get up and go to work in the morning, choice to come home, choice to eat lunch, choice to drive your car recklessly, choice to walk down the street stupidly, choice to confront someone who can hurt you, choice to buy good food, choice to buy crap, pardon my French, so on and so forth. So every day we have unlimited choices in our lives. We can choose between right and wrong. Ooh, there's two good ones. Between safe and dangerous. Two good ones. Between happy and sad. Yeah, we can choose that. Our cup can always be half full, or half empty. Up to you. The choice is ours. If we are rich or poor, black or white, tall or short, it makes no difference. We always have a choice in everything we do. And those of us who are lucky enough to be living in the United States of America are free to make those choices. We're given the opportunity to make those choices. We can choose good or evil. We can choose our friends or enemies. The key, I believe, to choice is knowledge. We have to be smart enough to make good choices. And how do you get that knowledge? The more knowledge we have in something, the better the chance we have to make a good choice. And then the better choice we can make. Now, so never forget, you have a chance to make a choice. It's your call. It's entirely up to you. So don't let someone else make the choices for you. You stand up and make the choices and be proud of the choices you make. My mother, another mom and dad. My mom and dad taught me the biggest room in the world, and my grandchildren will all chime in at the rest of the sentence, is the room for improvement. They live with that. And my sons, of course. That has stuck with me throughout the years. I love it, because it's important. It's true. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. To that end, I have made it a personal mantra of my life to observe others. Look and see the things that I admire and respect and try to add those things to my life. Conversely, see the things in others that I do not like, that I feel distasteful, and I try to be very sure that I do not do those things. In other words, use the room for improvement and constantly see the person I am and how it compares to the person I want to be. I have high expectations for me. Try to use the gifts God has given me to do the good for myself and good for others who cross my path. I have come to realize that I enjoy spending time with people. I do. And I respect, and by listening and observing, I can learn from everybody I meet. Everybody. I read a passage from a Bible a few years ago that really reached out to me. I'm not a big Bible guy, but I believe in what it says, and I read it when I can. I study it when I can. This passage comes from the book of Luke in the New Testament, Luke 12, chapter 12, verse 47. And it simply says, to those who have been given much, much will be expected. Can't beat that. I have been given much. Not necessarily material much, although I have been more than my share of that. But I have been given much in the intangibles part of life. Love, respect, opportunity, family, friends, loving parents, good health, faith, and so much more. Living here in the United States, living in the freest and best country in the world the world has ever known. So I have been given so much, and much will be expected when the time comes. My father also taught me that honesty is the best policy. If you lie, you must always remember what the lie was. Pretty simple. If you tell the truth, No problem. The story's always the same. That makes it easy. Again, making a choice to make life simple and easy. Tell the truth. It's always the same story. Another wisdom of my father was, if you can't say something good about somebody, then don't say anything at all. Those, I think, were exceptionally kind and wise words. I have tried hard all my life to only speak positively about people and things. I failed at times, but for the most part, speak positive. Say good things, or don't say anything. After all, everything and everyone has a positive side. They really do, if you just look for it. It's very easy to find the bad or negative parts, but it takes a little work, a little compassion, a little time, and finding the good in everyone, because all of us have something good. And there are times when none of it works, so just don't say anything at all. Don't be mean. I'll title this section, It's Been One Heck of a Great Ride. So far, it's not over. Who would have thought that this Irish kid who grew up on the west side of Chicago, not necessarily a great area, but a general middle-class area, a poor part of the city, who thought I would grow up and be so incredibly blessed? Not me. I was given the true unconditional love of my mother and father, and that word stands out. Unconditional. Yeah, they didn't agree with all the things I did, but they loved me every minute of every day they were alive. I was surrounded by a large family of aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers and cousins, and oh my God, I was educated by religious nuns and priests who were highly educated and committed to teaching young people about life and God. I was blessed with a younger brother who set a fine example for me and grew up to be my very best friend, my brother Dan. I was blessed with the opportunity to pursue the life journey the way I wanted in a country that permitted me these choices. I was blessed with two wonderful sons that I am so incredibly proud of, to carry on the family name, to carry on the family traditions, to carry on our beliefs. Both have grown into fine young men, husbands, fathers. I could not be prouder. Two wonderful gifts from God. I never dreamed that when I grew up I would own my own business. I did. I never dreamed that when I grew up I would be lucky enough to travel all around the world. I did. I never dreamed I would stand at the foot of the great pyramids of Egypt, see the land of my ancestors, Ireland, stand at the spot where Jesus was born and crucified in Israel. I ran on the surfaces that witnessed the very first Olympic Games in Olympia, Greece, and later in my life carried the torch, as I told you earlier, that would light the flames. I stood on the floor of the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican in Rome. I saw whales frolic in their natural surroundings in Alaska. I swam with stingrays and dolphins in Mexico. I stood in the 5,000-year-old city of Skara Brae in Scotland. I witnessed our democracy in action in the U.S. Senate and in the White House. I witnessed that. I saw that. I stood there. And as I write this, I still have more to do. I still have time to do it. It really has been one heck of a ride.